vision, leadership, workplace-related topics. The Voices of Victory podcast show. Subscribe today. Let's go.
Vision, leadership, self-esteem, and workplace-related topics.
Subscribe.
The Voices of Victory podcast show.
Voices of Victory.
Vision,
Voices of Victory.
leadership,
Voices of Victory.
workplace-related topics.
The Voices of Victory.
Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory.
It's time for the show. You are now listening to the Voices of Victory podcast show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mario Di Leone.
Hello and welcome to the Voices of Victory podcast, where we explore communication, self-esteem, self-expression, navigating the challenges of modern life with a little bit of humor, a little bit of insight, a little bit of hilarity, and a tidbit of clarity. So we're going to have some fun in today's episode. We're going to be discussing some phrases for job interviews, especially when it comes to general questions that are designed to uncover who you are. They're trying to get to know you. Just keep that in mind. And the first one is usually smashing the ice, right? Smashing the ice. Starting strong matters. And guess what? The initial moments in the interview, that's when we break the ice or smash the ice. We set the tone for the rest of the conversation. And using phrases that are warm, engaging, but also show our confidence is going to be very important. Now, keep in mind, you could take these phrases and tweak them. You could put them in your own words. I don't want you to sound quote unquote scripted. I want you to actually have a level of off the cuff with it, where you actually know it and you're confident when you actually say it. It's in your own words. It's how you would say it. But when someone asks you, when they ask you about yourself, you could easily respond with, I'm someone who thrives on challenges and believes in continuous learning. It's so straightforward. And it shows a growth-based mindset, because there's fixed-based mindsets and there's growth-based. And when you show that you're growth-based, the beauty of that is it shows you're always willing to learn. And that is in the phrase continuous learning. And that's the whole point. Now, they may ask you a question like, how do you handle projects? Well, if it's tackling a new project or mastering a skill, I bring enthusiasm and dedication to the table. And I make sure that I work through all my challenges. Notice that that is very sincere, because we work through our challenges. We work through them. Sometimes you might even conquer them, whatever the case would be. You can put it in your own words. Now, when you're commenting on the environment, if it's a really gorgeous office and you truly feel this way, in other words, you feel confident to say this, feel free to say this is an inspiring place. Say, I feel that creativity and the collaboration are really valued here, especially if you feel that way. If you sense that the environment is a wonderful place to work and it's a very warm and cozy one, and that's great. You know, sometimes they may take you to a cold and dark office, but you might walk through the entire building until you get there and be able to experience everything on the way in. And when you sit down, it can be part of, the icebreaker and where you are. That's most important. So how can we understand this better? First of all, oversharing in interviews can completely derail even the most promising conversations faster than a plot twist in a bad soap opera on Netflix. I'll tell you that right now. So just imagine being asked, why did you leave your last job? And instead of giving a concise professional response, you launch into a detailed account of an office drama and how you didn't get along with so-and-so, complete with the reenactments of the awkward team meetings on top of it. So honesty is appreciated, I get it, but oversharing signals a lack of discretion, a lack of controlling the communication, and it can make the interviewer question your judgment, ability, focus, and even understanding of the relevant points that you're trying to make. It's like offering to show your vacation slideshow when they just asked you for a postcard. Keep it brief and stick to what matters. Please, please, please. I cannot say this. I can't say this enough, because that would be oversharing, wouldn't it? So just Be concise. I want you to be wise with your words. Wise meaning, is this appropriate to discuss this or not appropriate? Does this go in the right direction or not? Just understand that. When you are speaking on past experiences, you've got to frame your experiences as stories of growth and achievements. So that's important. So like you could easily say, like, at my previous role, I led a small project which taught me the value, and you could fill in the key skill or lesson here, the value of honesty or the value of integrity. And that experience has prepared me to tackle other similar challenges. And that's what it's all about. And when it comes to challenges, when you're discussing challenges, you can say one of my biggest challenges was ... Describe it and then add an action in there and then a key takeaway. So you have a description of the challenge, the action that you took, and a little key takeaway, a little nugget of insight that you got. Because you've got to explain to them that you see challenges as an opportunity to innovate. When they say, how do you handle conflict? Your best response with that is conflict can actually be an opportunity. And that's something important to bring out, is that conflict can indeed be an opportunity for two people to grow and for two people to reach an understanding professionally. Very important. So that's what it's all about there. Now, when you do decide to inject humor, again, keep your humor in that concept of acquired taste. When you are talking about career goals, for example, your ambition actually matters. You want to align your ambitions with the company's vision. Now, if you haven't done your homework, look and see if the organization has a set of values that they're looking for. So a lot of cultural strategies, and I discuss cultural strategies with a lot of startup companies, I help those companies figure out what their values are. And that helps them in their hiring process. So when you understand what their values actually are, you could align your attributes that you're aware of to those values. So if they value integrity, then obviously you can speak on integrity. So my advice is, before you go for that wonderful interview, make sure you check out what their values are. Their values, the mission of the organization, and the vision. Don't treat it like an afterthought. Treat it like data and information that's going to supply you with that chance to find synergy between your traits and the company's values. Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. So your ambition, it matters. When you're asked about those goals, you can say, I'm looking to grow in a role where I want to contribute meaningful projects, build expertise in this particular field, and make an impact on my peers around me. It's straightforward. They may ask you like 5-year plans, like in 5 years, where do you see yourself? And you can say, in 5 years, I see myself mastering this particular role and mentoring others to help them achieve their potential, because growth is always a team effort. You see that? And that's the beauty of that. And of course, these things have to be in alignment with your actual goals. Very important. Now, sometimes they might discuss the industry and position savvy conversation. They may ask you to demonstrate your knowledge and enthusiasm for the particular field and role that you're in. And when it comes to those industry insights, you could just pretty much straightforward say, I've been following the trends in this industry for several years, particularly ... trend, right? And it's fascinating how companies are becoming more relevant in this area. And I'd love to contribute that knowledge that I have to create some evolution within the organization. Now, that's the fun part that you can look at. So when it comes to role-specific knowledge, they may ask the question of like, this position requires X skill or Y knowledge, and your background is what we're looking for, right? They may ask you that and say, well, my background gives me a strong foundation to actually excel. That could be your response. Very straightforward. Now, one of the best interview questions towards the end, and then we're going to wrap it up right here. When you're at the end of the interview and they say, do you have any other questions for me? One of the most powerful questions that you can hit them with, this is like literally, if you're on a game show, you win like the $10,000 point score. Just hit them with the questions. If there were 3 things you could change about this organization, what would it be? Let me say that again. If there were 3 things that you could change about this organization, what would it be? And sit back and relax and wait for the honest answer. Because whatever they give you in terms of an answer could signal you as to whether or not you want to take the job or not take the job, right? Because you got to remember, an interview is not one-sided. Don't go into an interview with the concept and attitude that it's one-sided. One-sided meaning, Okay, they're just going to get to know me. No, you're going to get to know them. You're also going to decide for yourself confidently, does your background, your values, does all of that align with what you're looking for within this organization? Is this a match? It's all about matching values in this interview. It's going to be all about matching values. Now, some people will become very terrified and very afraid because they're like, I need a job, I need money, I need income. They hit the panic button. They're getting anxiety. They're getting depressed. Life is crashing around them. They're not making their bills. And it puts all that pressure on the person that's interviewing. And what happens is they're willing to drop their values in order to get the job because they're terrified. And I want to tell you that you could be choosing a role where you're going to be very unhappy with if you wind up staying there for the next, let's say, 10 years or so, right? Granted, if it's a temporary job, not a big deal because, all right, you're going to be there for a short stint, a short period. That's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. But what I want to share with you is that the interview is not just about you. It's also about them. It's about matching. It's about matching your values to theirs. It's all about finding that synergy. And most people may not see it that way. Why? Because they fall into that, anxiety, depression, energy where their whole world is crumbling down. And I can't blame some people because they're just going through such hard times. They may not have money coming in, bills may not be getting paid, unemployment's running out. They may have all these different issues, right? But I want you to know that if you don't have those circumstances, it's a good mentality to go in there with that self-worth of, I want to interview you just as much as you want to interview me. So don't be afraid to ask questions to find that match. They should be a match for you just as much as you're a match for them. Please, I can't state that enough. So when it comes to collaboration, make it a strength, believe in great teams being built on respect, and keep your communication open. In the words of humor, be like duct tape. You're versatile, reliable, and indispensable in a pinch. All right? And that's just a little humor addition. And honor your uniqueness, please. Understand that you are enough. The moment you walk away from that interview, tell yourself, I am enough. You are enough. And just keep that in mind. Have a great day. See you on the next episode.